Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
What time is it? We're going to start our meeting. It's 7:17 p.m. I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out on this day, which is our last PCC meeting for 2024. Since we started back up, this is the 6th meeting that we've had, and we already have 2025 scheduled, okay? I might not be here for all of them, but I have already made sure that they're scheduled, so you guys will be in motion for the 2025, okay? All right, so we're gonna just open with a quick prayer. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because we gotta put prayer back in everything, right? Okay, if you bow your heads. Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, we come before you with bowed heads and humble hearts, thanking you for another day. Thanking you for allowing each and every person to get here safely. Those who had to travel by plane or car, highways, I thank you for getting them to their destination, and we ask that you return them safely home. God, I ask that as we approach the discussions of today, that you give us a clear mind and an open heart so that we can come together on one accord for one goal, to be a better and stronger community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. We were going to have the open remarks by Director Warren and Chief Vincent Midiello. They're at another meeting. They will be coming over, so at the time that they walk in, we'll give them the opportunity to speak if it's not a presentation in progress. Okay? I just wanted to acknowledge some of the things that are coming up. If you saw the flyers that were outside, Orange High School is doing a drive for business clothing, right, for their youth. So these flyers are out there. They're looking for gently used professional outfits, okay? So we can show our young people how they're supposed to show up and show out. Inner City Cafe, they're having a winter wonderland, and they're looking for donations. This is gonna be on South Essex. So that flyer is out there. And of course, last but not least, is the Orange Police Department's Toys for Tot Drive. If you know of anybody that utilize or have children and they would like to receive a toy, bring them out. This is going to be on Thursday, the 19th from 4 to 7 p.m. If you haven't been here before, I mean, it's something to actually witness. Due to collaborations through our officer Skolsky with the Marine Corps, when I tell you we get an abundance of toys, at least about 8,000 toys or more. Right, and if you can see the line, I'm talking ho. The line is, they start lining up for our toy drive. I tried to convince a woman to go home last year. She was outside with her child at like 11 o'clock, right? I'm like, it doesn't start until 4, please.
Oh my
But
God.
take the flyer, share it, and if you just want to come out and see something positive going on in our community, because we're so quick to give a lot of acknowledgement to the things that go on, right? We'll be talking about shots fired later on, but if we have shots fired, we get a lot of attention to that. So when we're doing things positive in the community, we want to shine the light on that. So Orange Police Department's Toys for Tot is something to talk about. So hopefully we'll see you then.
Excuse me, I'm going to cut you off. If the children live out, they still live in New Jersey, but they don't live in this hall, nothing there?
They're supposed to be residents of the city of Orange Township.
That's all I'm asking.
Definitely. I mean, we don't deny people, but we want to take care of home first.
But I live in Orange, and those are my children.
Okay, then you live in Orange. Okay, so say less. You live in Orange, you're a resident, right? You have to show your ID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you live in Orange, and if they can benefit from,
55 years.
if they can benefit from the toy drive, you bring them, the more the merrier. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so, where was I?
Captain Cummings, I hope every newspaper is here to witness, because it was something to be.
Well, we had a meeting this afternoon, and that has been in every discussion that we were gonna have, send the request out for Jersey 12 to come and actually film it, because it is something to see on the news.
Yes, like you said, if it's something negative, it's gonna be on the front page.
Yes.
But this is so positive, every newspaper and the television.
Yes.
channel.
Ms. Johnson, she attended for the first time last year.
I was amazed.
Yes.
I bought some and I told they don't need mine. My little donations.
Oh, yeah. Every donation counts. That's another
Yes,
child.
yes,
so.
but it was something to see.
Yes.
And I wanted everybody to share it.
Not because I am a woman in the police department, but because I am a woman in the Police Department. I wanted to shine a light on the women who work for the Orange Police Department. I think 2 years ago we organized and just started to think of things that we could do in the community, separate and apart from the department, but also representing the department's professionalism. So in 2023, when we were doing the Toys for Tots, we came up with 2 initiatives. And one initiative was Operation Prom, and in that initiative, Detective Rossi led that. And we dressed 5 high school girls from head to toe. I mean, everything. We dressed them and sent them off to the prom. So the last initiative was our Blessing Bag initiative. We sought out to adopt a women's shelter. So we had one that just popped up in Orange because we didn't originally have one, and they had 16 women, so we set out and developed these blessing bags with so many things in them, and we had 20 bags, and at the last minute, they had to relocate to Montclair where there was 21 other women, and we didn't have enough bags to supply all of those women. So I reached out to different clergy, and we ended up having an awesome event at Inner City Cafe, if you guys are familiar with that, where we were able to bless 20 women with bags filled with hats and scarves, and we partnered with different restaurants in the city of Orange. McDonald's gave us vouchers, Wawa gave us vouchers for them, Donuts House gave us vouchers, there was another restaurant that gave us vouchers. We had so much in these bags, and they were truly a blessing, and the women really appreciated it. So I just wanted to shine the light. And our group is not about rank, it's about all of us coming together and trying to do something positive for the community. So I did want to shine the light on the women of OPD. At this time, we're just going to move forward and have our presenters who have flown back into New Jersey after giving us our best practices on this software, on this technology. And they found it not robbery when I asked them in my class if they would come back and present to you guys. So I will, at this time, ask them to come up. We have 2 exceptional individuals who, I wrote it down, you know, I talked about it. But all the way into New Jersey to provide you with valuable information on ShotSpotter, gunshot detection technology that creates a safer community for not just you, but for us as well, for all of us, business owners, everybody. So at this time, could Alfred Lewers Jr., MPA Senior Director, and Keisha L. Fed, PhD, Customer Success Director of SoundThinking, come up at this time. SoundThinking.
Thank you so much.
Stacy. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Before I get started, I'd just like to let my colleague introduce herself.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Keisha Fed. I am the Customer Success Director that will be covering Orange PD. So my role will be to make sure that they are trained properly for the technology, and any issues that they have, I will be the liaison between the two. So I will be advocating for the city of Orange. I come here with over 20 years of experience in law enforcement, but now I'm over here in this area with my fabulous colleague, Alfred Lewis.
Thank you, Dr. Fed. Can you hear me? Do I need a microphone?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm Alfred Lewis. I'm the Senior Director of Trauma Response and Community Engagement. I've been with SoundThinking for 8 years this month, and prior to that, I had a law enforcement career that spanned 34 years. My last assignment was the Assistant Chief of Police, where I retired from the Miami Gardens Police Department. So I'm happy to be here to share information with you on ShotSpotter. During the course of the evening, this is going to be a pretty straightforward presentation. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We have a very simple agenda. We're going to talk about our company, SoundThinking. We're going to have you to understand ShotSpotter. Tell you a little bit about, what our capabilities, limitations, and our promise to our customers, our contractual obligation. I'm going to talk to you about success, privacy from a community standpoint, things that we do beyond gunshot detection, and of course we want to talk about opportunities for collaboration that would go even greater than us being here this evening, and then any questions or answers that you may have. So So SoundThinking, our company has been around for about 28 years, or over 28 years. We started out as ShotSpotter, and over the last several years, we've acquired several different technologies and companies, and as a result of the broad technology and services that we have, we changed our name to SoundThinking. So we have a safety smart platform that involves several different technologies. ShotSpotter is our marquee gunshot detection system. Doing gunshot detection for over 28 years in over 180 cities across the United States. We're in Uruguay, we're in Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, U.S. Virgin Islands, South Africa. So that's something that no one does gunshot detection as well as we do, and the services that go along with it. We have Plate Ranger, which is our automated license plate recognition system. And then, of course, there's Crime Tracer. It's our, we call it our, like Google for cops. It's got billions of data and a simple search scenario where they can get all types of links to cases, and it really helps for investigations. And then, of course, we have Case Builder. It's a case management solution. And then we have Resource Router. Resource Router is a patrol management solution. So instead of officers just going places on a hunch, or it aggregates data, takes into consideration risk terrain modeling and a lot of other information to give officers an opportunity to be in areas that they should be during the course of their shift. And it actually tabulates how long they're in those areas. So now sometimes you have a problem in your neighborhood, you want to see patrol officers in your neighborhood, and you're like, well, we never see a police officer. With Resource Router, they can tell you exactly who was in the areas and for how long. So it's an incredible tool. And our most recent acquisition is SafePoint. SafePoint is an AI-assisted weapons and explosive detection system. It's a non-intrusive type of tool. Instead of going through an archway for weapons detection, you don't even know that you're going through it. It looks like the ballards that you see out in front of businesses to stop people from driving cars into them. That's basically what it looks like, but it's an incredible tool. So that's the reason why we are no longer ShotSpotter, and as a company, we're SoundThinking. So that's a little bit about our company. So I want you to understand ShotSpotter. Has anybody in here ever heard of ShotSpotter? Great. So you're going to learn a little bit about it. So I'm going to show you a quick video that gives you a pretty good understanding of how our tools work. It's less than 3 minutes, but I find it pretty interesting.
You know the fear, gunfire in your neighborhood, but you don't know where it came from. Is it close? Did someone already call 911? Are my family and friends okay? Is there a victim bleeding out? In the event of a shooting, a minute could be the difference between life or death. A life or death situation in your neighborhood. With ShotSpotter, law enforcement agencies are notified within a minute of gunfire, deploying police officers and other first responders to the exact location of the shooting. Their rapid response saves lives and disrupts the gun violence cycle. ShotSpotter's gunshot detection technology starts with acoustic sensors positioned on top of buildings or street lamps. If gunfire is heard in the coverage area, the sensors will detect and timestamp the sound. The precise location is determined by analyzing the time it takes for the sound to travel to each sensor, effectively triangulating the sound. A possible gunshot is analyzed by an actual person in the Incident Review Center. From there, they determine crucial information. Is it a single shooter or multiple? But most importantly, is it actually gunfire, or is it a firework or a car backfiring? If it is gunfire, an alert is sent within 60 seconds to law enforcement. This is crucial, as over 80% of gunfire goes unreported. When gunfire goes unreported, lives are lost and gun violence becomes normalized.
I do know that in fact there were several lives saved, and one actually in our community due to ShotSpotter. A man was shot on our streets and no one had alerted the police to the shots being fired. Therefore, the police showed up and the man was not responsive. So they administered CPR to this man and saved his life. He's alive today because of ShotSpotter.
There are many reasons why gunfire can go unreported. Sometimes community members are not sure if what they heard was gunfire. Perhaps they think someone else will call. Or maybe it's so common that they're desensitized to it. And in some cases, they're simply scared of retaliation. ShotSpotter enables a rapid, consistent, and precise response that can save lives.
We had 732 shootings last year, and the majority of those were picked up by ShotSpotter, which means that we're able to respond quicker. The people who can respond, the higher probability there exists that we're going to save a life.
The precise location information provided by ShotSpotter helps investigators collect evidence and, most importantly, shell casings. Evidence that can solve crimes and take dangerous criminals off the streets.
There's just a bunch of data that says that, crime has gone down in the community, and I really attribute that to having ShotSpotter in the community.
Improving the police-community relationship begins with transparency. ShotSpotter's reporting capabilities on response time and ground truth, such as evidence collection, improve police accountability and transparency. That transparency builds trust. Trust that your police department will respond to an emergency as fast as possible. ShotSpotter's gunshot detection system is currently used by more than 150 cities.
With ShotSpotter having been deployed in Greenville for a year now, we've seen significant reductions in overall gunshot and gunshot wounds within the city of Greenville. This technology stands to make your life safer, to make your family and your friends safer.
And the mainline story is a community feeling super positive about the police department that forever never showed up when there were incidents of gunfire, that now are showing up, and they're showing up quickly, precisely, and respectfully because they want to serve that community.
ShotSpotter is committed to building trust between the police and the community. In the moment of crisis, do you want to worry if the police are responding? Learn more at SoundThinking.com.
So that gives you an idea of how our technology works. But I want to make it perfectly clear to you, our technology is not perfect. If you ever have to go to the doctor for imaging, whether it's diagnostic for cancer screening, quite often that technology will give you a 20% false negative. No technology is perfect. Our contractual obligation or our promise to our customer is that we will give them 90% of the audible, outdoor, non-suppressed gunfire within 60 seconds or less, within a 25 meter, and that they have 99.9% uptime. So that's uptime, meaning the system is working outside of the regular maintenance windows. So that's our promise to our customers and you here in the city of Orange. One thing I think it's important that number one, you identify what your goals and your objectives are using any technology. And with those goals and objectives, you have a plan in place to actually achieve those goals and objectives. And then you have metrics that you're measuring to see if you're reaching your goals. So it's important for you to track success. And there's a lot of information out there related to ShotSpotter and its success. It clearly enhances the overall response to gunfire. There are going to be times when officers are going to respond to ShotSpotter alerts, and the shell casings will still be warm and the gunpowder will still be in the air. There are going to be people who have been shot in the absence of a 911 call. And those ShotSpotter alerts are going to allow officers to respond and either render aid or get EMS there in a more timely fashion. That is without a doubt. It happens across this country every single day using ShotSpotter. It, of course, improves the speed of response of the officers. It improves the spatial accuracy of the response, meaning you don't have to block off an entire block to try to find your crime scene. ShotSpotter gives you an 82-foot radius. It's about the size of a house that we tell you the gunfire event occurred in that area. It helps to, of course, be able to identify active killing scenarios, to locate victims, to collect shell casings and other evidence during investigations. It reduces the transport time and saves lives. 2011, when I was at Miami Gardens and I was investigating ShotSpotter, I went to Oakland, California, and I met with Ursi Joyner. Ursi was a captain with the Oakland Police Department. Great guy. He really helped me to understand how to use the tools. He retired a couple of years ago. He was at a gas station in Oakland, California. 3 guys came up to rob him. Gave everything that he had, told him, hey, in the car there's a bag, you can have it, you know, don't want any problems. One of the guys was like, hey, go ahead, kill him. Ursi had his weapon on him. He ended up shooting one of the guys. He ended up leaving his point of cover and was shot by a person that he didn't see, a 4th guy. He had 21 entry and exit wounds. There were people there videotaping the incident. Not a single person called the police. ShotSpotter got the Oakland Police Department there. They immediately scooped him up, got him to the hospital. He's alive today as a result of ShotSpotter. This happens across America every single day. How much is a life worth? I can tell you, if it was one of my family members, I would definitely want to have this type of technology available. And then, of course, like I said, it improves your evidence recovery and the impact on gun violence, along with strategies that are put in place by the Orange Police Department, helps to reduce crime. So those are the success stories associated with it. This QR code on our website, very easy to find this information. I share with everybody. We want you to be well informed on our technology. And look at the whole picture related to its success. So that's something there. There's, you know, from time to time, you have people who are detractors when it comes to technology. I've had people say, not only do I not want the police to have ShotSpotter, I don't want them to have police cars. There's some people who are very extreme with their mindset. I understand having problems with your relationships with your police department and having concerns over how you may be treated by that agency. That is something that needs to be addressed if it presents itself. But this technology, the facts associated with its success, how it helps not only to give you information on where gunfire occurs, but gives you information like temporal grids, the days of the weeks and the hours of the day that gunfire is occurring. Repeat gunfire locations, gunfire that occurs within a quarter mile of the school that's in the coverage area. That information is very beneficial, not just from a criminal justice standpoint, but from the standpoint of being able to bring in resources to help people who are negatively impacted by gunfire and to get to the root causes of what causes gunfire and gun violence to flourish in areas. It's about using that precise data to bring services to people who may not normally get it. So those are some of the things that ShotSpotter does. When you look at the people who are the opponents of our technology, they don't pay attention to that. They want to gloss over that. So we have lots of information available on our website related to any false claims that are out there. So as it pertains to privacy, there are some people who express concerns, say that, hey, this is a technology that's used for surveillance, to listen to our conversations. That's not what ShotSpotter is for. ShotSpotter is designed to detect dynamic events, things that go bang, boom, or pop, in excess of 120 decibels. That's what it's designed for. It's designed to detect gunfire. It does not detect indoor gunfire, but outdoor gunfire. So for people who have the concerns over the privacy and being listened to by our technology, a few years ago we had the New York policing project to come in and do an audit of how we do what we do. And they made several recommendations, and we adopted all of them. Used to be a scenario where we had 72 hours of spool time. That's basically all of the data, all of the sound files that come in that are reviewed before we send out the ShotSpotter alerts to our customers. Our customers never get access to that raw information. We would give them 4 seconds of audio before the gunfire event. We would give them the gunfire event, and then 2 seconds after the gunfire event. Some of the recommendations in the privacy audit were that we take our spool time down from 72 hours to 30 hours. And instead of giving 4 seconds before and 2 seconds after, we give 1 second of audio prior to the gunfire event, and 1 second afterwards. And these recommendations and others, they said that there's less likelihood to acoustic surveillance if we adopt those. And we adopted 100% of those recommendations. You want to search it, the privacy audit assessment for ShotSpotter, the policing project, or use that QR code to get access to it. And all of the things that I shared with you, the things that we did, the independent auditors coming in and looking at what we did. So, because we want people to trust our technology. We have had incidents where we have had customers who have tried to get access to audio, and we will vehemently fight against that. We fought against subpoenas to try to get that audio. No, this is for gunshot detection and not anything else. So, one of the things that we realized over the last couple of years is we have more data than any other entity in the world as it pertains to where gunfire is occurring. And police departments use it for operations, maybe to put up cameras or license plate readers or have officers there. They know that between 8 p.m. on a Wednesday and 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, which is Saturday night, that's where gunfire is occurring. And they know those specific locations. They can set up operations. They can be there. They can, check for patterns of behavior in the event that, you have a repeat gunfire location. Detroit, Michigan, they had a repeat gunfire location. They had a ShotSpotter alert. They got there. They found all kinds of shell casings and other evidence. They submitted for a search warrant, and they found a gun making operation in the house. And they also manufacturing Glock switches. These little switches that go on the back of Glock firearms to make them fully auto. And that was as a result of the ShotSpotter data. So it's good to use it from a criminal justice standpoint, but like I said earlier, there are other things that we should be looking at as it pertains to gunfire. A community-based violence intervention program is key to being able to address what's occurring in communities. Many of the organizations, whether it's a Office of Violence Prevention, city or county services, Department of Public Health, federally qualified health centers, hospital-based violence intervention programs, or school-based handle with care programs. Them getting access to the patterns of gunfire activity would be very beneficial so that they can use the resources that are already in place. They're already getting city, state, county, and sometimes federal funds to provide services to people. Quite often they wait for those people to come to them or after they've been the victim of a crime. One of the things that we know at SoundThinking is that just because someone is not hit during a gunfire event doesn't mean that they're not harmed. There's adverse childhood experiences that occur as a result of exposure to gunfire. Kids behave in ways that could be considered, obstinate or just, disrespectful or insubordinate. But they're exposed to gunfire and it impacts them. So being able to have these organizations that have a community-based approach to go into those areas based upon the ShotSpotter data, we think is very beneficial for the communities that we serve. This is our Data for Good program. And we will make the data available to the organizations in a partnership with the police department if the department chooses to have us assist them. Beyond gunshot detection and opportunities for collaboration, one of the things that we want to do is we want to be able to show up. We want you to look at us. We want you to be able to, if you have tough questions, ask us the tough questions. We want to have an opportunity to give back, to collaborate, whether they're community events, and also to use that ShotSpotter data to determine where you would bring in additional services. So some police departments don't need our assistance. The Orange Police Department has a team of professionals that are really focused on community engagement. They do a great job of engaging and assisting the community. Those organizations, those agencies will come in and support if they have events. The ones that need assistance on putting together different programs and things like that, we participate and assist with that using our data. So it's all about fostering positive relationships, improving community well-being, addressing those specific incidents, and giving back. That's what we are about as a company, and I have a team in community engagement that focuses on that. And of course, Dr. Fayette has expertise in community engagement, and we're very passionate about giving back and helping the communities that we serve. And I'm just gonna show you one of the incidents. We have several of our customers that actually have these community connection events based upon ShotSpotter data. And I just wanna show you this quick video on a city that we've helped, Springsville, Illinois.
All sorts of groups that are here today to offer services to the residents with the goal in mind of revitalizing this specific area, showing the most vulnerable residents of our community that we truly care about them and are willing to give them the services that they need.
Public Works is integrally involved with the community. We have housing inspectors that evaluate blighted properties, environmental housing issues. We're integrally involved with the community. The reason we chose this area was because of the ShotSpotter system. It's a high crime area, as well as our CityWorks asset management system. It comes up as a hotspot on our heat map for housing complaints, as well as work orders that need to be completed for our infrastructure.
We use ShotSpotter Connect program to identify the area of need based on our crime analytics that it uses. This area we're in has been pretty active in the ShotSpotter Connect boxes. Our officers are over here quite a bit. So that's how we picked it here, and then beyond that, ShotSpotter has kind of given us information that other agencies have used, the do's and don'ts, and how to really make this first event for us as successful as possible.
Historically, Connect uses police data to go into an area to suppress crime using police officers. What we find is that the police department does not stop the root cause of crime, it suppresses crime. So we like to use all the city's departments and all the private entities in the area to come together as one, and then we go to an area that we see being forecasted, and we go into that area with all these resources. And then we go door to door and start to see what these neighborhoods need, and not only what the neighborhood needs, but we look to see what each individual household needs.
We want to identify with the individuals that live within this area. We want to let them know that the city services are available for them. That goes well beyond the police department.
Almost all of the city agencies, from the police department, fire department, public works, CWLP, are all involved. The library's involved. Then we have outside agencies, the Outlet, Memorial Behavior Health is out here.
Our organization is called The Outlet, and we mentor boys ages 8 to 22. We get together twice a week. Our mentees and our mentors do. We provide free meals, help them with social emotional skills, planning goals. They play games, so it's a lot of fun and education all tied into one.
Lincoln Library is Springfield's public library, and like all public libraries, we sit at the heart of the community. We believe that information is power, and our goal is to provide free access to information and resources to everyone in the community.
We're planning on full steam ahead over the next couple of years. As long as I'm sitting in this seat, we're going to be out in the community making sure that they understand that we're here to help. All of the stuff that we can provide for them and getting together with our other community partners to make that happen.
If there's one thing that I've learned in my nearly 25 years in law enforcement, it's about building trust and confidence in those that we as the police department serve in our community. So by establishing relationships and having events such as the Community Connections event that we're hosting today, and basically going out in a non-law enforcement setting, it's a great opportunity to just engage with the community.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is who we are as a company, our technology, and the services that we provide. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What is the current status of this program with our current system, our Orange Police Department, our current Orange Police Department?
Dr. Fick, deployment date and time?
We're still working on permissions. There were a couple more permissions, but we're looking to have you going live by maybe the middle of the month. That's what our plan is. But we have to have enough sensors up so that we can go live. We don't want to go live and not have every area covered.
Where are you currently located?
So I'm going to let the department answer that, but usually what we do is we look at data, your crime data, and based on where you've had areas of involvement of gunfire, we utilize those areas to actually to do your coverage area, but we don't give you specific areas. Even the department won't know where the sensors are located. We do that for two reasons. Because we don't want the sensors to be destroyed, and two, in the event that there was a FOIA response or acquisition, they wanted to actually get information, we want to make sure that we protect that data, because we really want the community to be safe, and we don't want them to actually be able to go out and find those sensors and destroy them.
So if you want to know where it is, we will not divulge. If you ask the department if they want to tell you, they will have to tell you the part of the city that's covered.
Yeah, we can say the part of it, but we wouldn't say exactly where it is. Because obviously, like the doctor just said, just for safety issues, especially like I'm in narcotics, so you trust no one, that's just how it works. So if someone knew that it was at your house, and just word of mouth, someone's talking, well, hey, Mrs. Johnson has that at her house. And some person is just like, okay, she's working with the police, when it's not really like that. So just to alleviate any problems like that, you really don't want to tell people where those things are.
So as of now, we currently do not have a program in the town, you're saying, but they're looking into it? Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, we have a date or roundabout.
Yeah, we're looking around about the middle of this month. We're currently installing sensors, so it is you're going to get the system, but we're still installing the sensors right now in those areas, in the coverage area. So about the middle of the month, you all will probably be live, but we're not exactly sure the exact date because we're still trying to put sensors up.
And decisions are made relevant to where the needs are, seem to be
it's based on your crime, on your data. So there are areas in your city that, of course, you don't have any crime there, right? And so they want to make sure that they're utilizing the technology in the prominent areas so that they can deter the crime, to be able to respond quicker, save lives in that manner. So that's how we utilize the data to determine your coverage area.
And what they actually look at is they look at gun crimes and shots fired call. Gun crimes such as homicide with a firearm, aggravated assault or aggravated battery with a firearm, and then shots fired call. That's what they use to determine what areas they want to put in. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. I saw the sensors that you put on structures. What exactly will you be putting those sensors on? Do they go on homes?
Like they go on light poles, they go on private residences, they go on businesses. So
Do
they
you need permission to put it on a private residence?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Which is what I was saying, that there were still some permissions that are out for different, whether it's a commercial entity or a personal entity. But we have to make sure that we have enough sensors in the area for them to triangulate, as we were showing, to actually be able to put officers in that location.
That was my next question. So do you actually have to have triangulation of data in order to detect a gunshot, or can it be one sensor picking up as opposed to 3?
It has to be at least 3 sensors that can actually do the triangulation. That's what we were showing. Because if not, if it's just one sensor, it's not going to give you direction of travel or being able to show officers exactly where it is. And so with them being able to have at least 3 to 4 sensors picking it up, it actually can locate the area and put officers in that particular vicinity. Versus if someone calls 5 or 10 minutes later and they say, well, I think I heard gunfire. Instead of them going to where you think you heard gunfire, they're going to come to you, your home, and ask you, well, what did you hear? What did you see? While we've already wasted valuable time for that. And so that's where our goal is, to get officers to the scene as quick as possible.
And that just, I'm sorry, my daughter one more question, I think. So my other question is, how does this system differentiate gunshots from loud noises, an explosion, a car accident, or something else?
Yeah, so it's an algorithm, and as he said, it has to be at least 120 decibels. And the system has been trained to listen for only bang, pops, and booms.
And then every single, I can answer it further.
So
Every
those
single,
other issues might need a 911 call too, though.
so every single shot spotter alert that's sent to the police department is also reviewed by a person. So there are acoustic experts. No one has listened to gunfire as much as they have, and we have a 90% plus accuracy rate on what we're providing to the police department.
So is the police department listening, or you, or someone, a representative from your organization listening too?
We vet them, and we send the alerts either through mobile devices or the computers in the cars and the dispatch center. So we send out the alert to everyone who's logged in at the department. They get actual incidents that we say are gunfire. They don't listen to anything other than what we send them. Our incident review center reviews all of the incidents that come in within your coverage area. Yes, ma'am.
Does your incident review center cover the whole country or just this city?
Entire world.
The entire world?
Yes, ma'am. We have an incident review center in Washington, D.C., and we also have one in Fremont, California. And they operate 24 hours, 7 days a week.
They're just like a dispatch center for your law enforcement has.
And thank you, sir. You had a question?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. You did a good job explaining the system. Appreciate that a great deal. My only question I have is, how much is this an issue in the city? Because I would not think this was a major issue, but is it not? I don't know. That's my question.
I would say it's enough of an issue for them to deploy the system. It is. It is. Yeah.
And the other thing about this is, remember, 80 to 85% of gunshots that go off in your communities, they're never reported. And oftentimes you may have heard somebody shooting, and one, you weren't sure, you maybe thought somebody else did it, or you just did not want to get involved. So these are the things that we've seen worldwide, that it helps officers to get their respond quicker.
I agree with that, because something might get hit, they get the fire, a firecracker. But is it something that happens on a daily basis, or is it weekly? I'm talking about being proactive, or this is an issue, and that's what we're addressing.
Yeah, but you gotta look at also the town that neighbors. So obviously you have different things, different situations that can come through the city.
And with having this, it can help us be able to do our job more efficiently, whether it happens frequently or not. Because let's say it happened only one time, but that one time, we're able to get the person immediately so they don't feel comfortable to come back.
No, I appreciate it, to be proactive.
Yeah, it can help us lead to the conclusion of an investigation, so to speak. But it's a great thing to have, even if you only use it once. You know, and as you know, Orange got a little better, right? Over the last few years, but it's still a good tool for us to have in case. So, thank you.
And you have neighboring cities that have it as well. Newark has it, East Orange as well, and some of the other cities here in New Jersey.
NYPD in New York has 80 square miles.
How did we find out about
It's a lot of places.
How did we find out? How did Orange?
Chief, how did you find out?
We found out because East Orange has it, Newark has it, and then we were presented with a grant to get it. Yes, because honestly, I'm always 100% honest. Probably wasn't for the grant, probably wouldn't have got it because it's money, but this is something that anything we can get, any tool we can get to help us do our job better, I'm all for. It's like a force multiplier, right? It's like having more ears, more eyes on the road, just like cameras and you know, command posts and all this. So, you know, and one of the biggest things is, God forbid somebody is shot, no one hears it, right? We'll get there immediately, we can render aid to somebody, right? That much quicker. So it's a really great thing to have. I'm glad that I met, because this company is by far one of the best companies I've ever worked with, that actually, you know, they're setting us up. They're also training us, and they don't just leave us out to hang. They're always there every step of the way, which is a good thing.
Is this going to be followed up with cameras?
We have cameras. Hold up, yes.
I believe in cameras.
Same here. Same here.
So in other words, would this also help you put cameras in a more meaningful or relevant areas?
Right now, we have our camera. We're always looking to expand and get a bigger area for our cameras, but we're pretty much camera up throughout the city. And, you know, when we did set up the shot spotter, we put them in, I don't want to say too much, but we put them in conjunction with where the cameras are. So this way, you hear something, you can always backtrack on the cameras to see what happened. So that's what happened when we had a shooting in the bar, like our cameras caught it. And even though we caught them immediately, we still had it on the camera. Yes.
Question there.
Yeah, this sounds very exciting. Now, what's the cost of this program?
Right now it's for free. It's on the grant. It's on the grant.
But the grant is a certain amount of money.
Yeah, the grant is, I think it's what, a year after? We don't know about numbers because that's with the BA. We have to bring it up there, but right now I know it's for free and they got it for us. And when I say we got it for us, when I say us, I mean all of us. We're a community. You know, we're all.
But what will happen after the grant ends? What will we do then? You have to plan.
We're gonna have, yes, I think they have a plan in place of paying it. There's also additional supplemental grants that we could also apply for that can take care of the.
And another good thing that we're gonna be doing is we're gonna help the PD with tracking for data, and we say metrics is a very big part of it. So we're able to track your data. You have your data to be able to show the city the value of it, so you get a true return on your investment. And so, and being able to have that data to show what has happened between the time you go live until the time that, let's say, the grant runs out, you can show what your success has been, which can show the city the value of the technology.
And a big part of the value, forgive me for being late, I'm sure they covered that, but the big part of it is prosecution. So this is going to help from being a detective lieutenant in narcotics. The big thing is prosecution. So this would help us even when we're going to trial and everything else, because we're more efficient, we're able to get there, we collect the data, we get the evidence, we get the person. If you guys hear a shot go off and it's like, I think I heard a shot, or maybe it was, and then you know what, I think I'm gonna call the police. But even that little delay, it stops us from getting there, as opposed to, like he explained, they have professionals for training where they know, okay, that's a 90%, they're 90% or plus. Give their reason of, hey, no, that's a gunshot, go to this location, and then it triangulates. So it puts us in the area more specific where we need to be, as opposed to us setting up a perimeter and trying to come in. We
can go right to that targeted area. And Greg, you brought up a good point concerning prosecution and testifying. They also, am I right, Dr.
Yes.
Fed, you want to explain on that?
We provide prosecution training as well. So the prosecutors, as well as the investigators, we will come back and do a training to show them how to utilize our data when they're going forward to actually prosecute a case. So that prosecutors they're on board, they understand the technology, they will get an opportunity to see just what you've seen and understand how to utilize the data with prosecution. We also provide expert training. We come out and do forensic analyses, detailed forensic reports. We come back and be an expert witness if need be as well. We're here with you. We're not just selling you something and saying, hey, you got a warranty 2 years, call us if something happens. Chief and everybody knows, they call, I'm here, they call me on the phone, email, we are here. You don't pay anything additional for this.
100%. This is the first vendor that I've ever known that it's kind of like paying a buck. They're always following up on what we need and what we need trained and when we need things done. And it's a really good thing. It really is.
How do they use you in New York City? Do they use you in New York City?
Yes. So New York is one of our most unique customers. They use their Microsoft Domain Awareness System as opposed to our user interfaces. And it interfaces with their license plate readers, their cameras, and everything else. So they use it extensively so that they have the situational awareness, so that they can get there in a timely fashion and save lives, so that they can collect shell casings and active killing scenarios and things like that. The most recent high-profile shooting that you heard of was not in the ShotSpotter coverage area. You know, as you know, New York is huge, but they have an 80 square mile coverage area.
How have other areas like surrounding Orange?
The longest one, East Orange is the longest, I think 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah, East Orange is 12 years and Newark is 10 years. Yes, great question.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna ask, does this interface with any other systems that we have currently operating?
Not as of yet, but in the future we're looking to integrate it with our cameras.
We can do integrations, but it's just a matter of, yes. Yeah, we can integrate with a lot of technology.
Okay, and then the other question is, if there are non-traditional areas that are not necessarily having a lot of gunshots, but they do occasionally, is there any kind of random assessment of those areas?
That's for the chief.
Well, what do you mean random assessment? You mean prior to the shooting or
No,
that
I
we
mean
know what's going?
intermittently, because if it's not a high, I guess, concentration or frequency of shots, if it's an area that doesn't necessarily have that situation going on, is there some kind of intermittent assessment of those non-traditional areas?
So I actually asked that question, Chief. I don't know if you guys remember. But if it's an area, so if it's a random shooting in that specific area where we haven't been having problems, but now we see there's an uptick in violence. So now we would discuss it with the chief, the command staff, and say, hey, I think we need to add another sensor in this area. And that's along with intelligence also. So the intelligence officer will come in and say, hey, we have something going on over here. We think it would be beneficial to the citizens and the police department to get sensors in this area because it might be a problem. So we want to try to stop the problem before it comes.
And we're pretty much covered, most of the cities.
Yeah, majority of the city is covered. And I was also going to say, the good thing about our technology, even if it's not in your area, we still pick up things and we suppress them. So any event, let's just say that there was a coverage area just outside of it and there was a shooting or something, our system keeps that data, and so they will be able to literally go into the system and see it and pick it up as a shooting. So we're still monitoring the area, so to speak, because your majority of the city is covered. It's just a little over 2 square miles.
2.2 square miles.
Yeah. There was a question here.
I just have a strange question.
No.
What's the story with the drones?
I'm sorry?
The drones.
What about it?
That are all
The drones.
Oh, we have.
I read that story today.
I don't know. We
If
don't
you
know.
get an answer, let me know.
There is no answer. We
Yeah,
actually
we
had
have
a
no
briefing
answer.
this morning with the state police and everything. It's still telling us it's unknown.
everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere in the journal.
There's a lot of, it's not everywhere, but it's in a lot of places. And yes, also Staten Island, a little bit of New York, so. Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot.
The feds can't figure that out.
Okay, do you know our government? They're not telling us something, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. There is licensing, that's 100%, right? You're supposed to have licensing. You have to have a pilot's license. You can only fly a certain height, you can only fly in certain areas. So it doesn't seem like to me, and I don't want to speak out of turn against, are they really taking it serious? If it's still happening after all these days?
Is it possible they're privately owned, so that's why there's nobody?
I don't, it could be privately owned, it could be, if they say it's not the military, maybe it's, I don't know. Our government agency, we just don't know. We guess about a million different things. I don't believe they're aliens, though. We have stationary LPRs, legislators, yes. Yes, we have mostly correct me if I'm wrong, and the egresses to the city, the LPRs. Yes. The stationary ones, yes. And let me tell you, they work. Between the camera integration with the LPRs, they work. They do. Now I get everybody here. Has anybody been on Main Street lately? Yeah. You see our nice big command post? The blue one, we've been placing it on Main Street. We got through forfeiture funds. We had a beautiful blue, it's like a Cummings truck, with like 25-foot back, that we park on Main Street as like a deterrent, as a mobile precinct for our walking personnel. Use it, they go in and out. And we also use that as a drone launch. A drone launch platform. For when we have events or we want to monitor things, we can sit in there, we can fly our drones. But yeah, it's a really nice thing that we have on Main Street. Was that? We we move it periodically, so yes. Yeah, but we move it to certain times in certain areas. But it's really nice. Just go and say hi to the cops or that are in there, for Christmas. And another thing for my mind's jumbled. Next week, do we all know what October 19th is? Next Thursday? Toys for Tots. Toys for Tots. So if you have any kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, please come. It's like a magical environment that we have up here. We have hot chocolate, we have food, we have cookies, we have coffee. Please come. Last year we served over 1,200 families.
Oh, a number of
Tangies like this at the end, like, oh my God. But it's just a joyous, beautiful day. You see the look on these kids and the parents. A lot of people don't have things. There's no better gift than to give somebody a little bit of attention, a little bit of love.
We talked about it before you joined us.
I'm sorry.
And
she was our witness.
That everybody, every newspaper, television should be here to cover.
Yeah, we're calling News 12 this time.
If there's something negative, they'll be here on the front page.
Yes, all the time.
But this is something that really needs to be shared because it's really very, very wonderful.
Oh, it's just, and you know what? We feel so good doing it.
Came in and captains on.
We feel so good doing it. And listen, you don't have to have kids to come and say hello and have some hot chocolate or cookies, right? You just come by and say hello.
But that line of people was from Main Street to William Street.
There it is. You guys come, you don't have any kids, you're my VIP guests.
That's right.
Come on up.
I get to bring my grandchildren.
Bring them.
I've been living in all.
Where's your husband right now? That's what I'm
outside waiting for.
Okay. Love that guy.
Before our presenters, Chief, if it's all right, before our presenters leave out, did you guys enjoy the presentation?
Aren't they the best? Seriously, aren't they the best?
Yes, so can we give them a round? When the chief said they're the best, I mean, I was in my best practice meeting on November 20th, and we already had a scheduled presentation for today. But when I asked them if they were willing to come back because we were going live, they did not hesitate. And I did not know they were flying back in. And so, I mean, they came all the way back. So I really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You guys always request that we bring some new officers to introduce themselves. So really quickly, in the interest of time, we have Lieutenant Rosamilia and Officer Dropic. They're going to introduce themselves really quickly, and then Officer Scopely, if time allows, will show you the stats that you guys requested. Okay?
No, I'm relevant. I'm Lieutenant Rosamilia with the Orange Police Department for 23 years now. Currently, I'm assigned to policy and procedures under the Chief Director. I actually had the pleasure to work with the Shot Spotter Company to create a policy for the system. It's going to be a great system where the crime is not what it used to be. It's definitely a good tool to have. It's the new equipment that they have, the best version, I think they said, the newest version of equipment. Currently today, I'm assigned to task with the patrol division, working in that task today.
Thank you for coming up. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Meant
that way. Okay, you're always there for us.
Hi everyone, I'll be very, very brief. I want to say happy holidays to each and every one of you. I was just at the East Ward community meeting, which was well attended. There were a lot of questions being asked, a lot of questions being answered. So that was a good meeting over there as well for the people in the East Ward. I live in the East Ward, so it was good to have the city and the councilmen over there answering our questions and our concerns. I want to invite each and every one of you to our council meetings. Council meetings are the first Tuesday in the month and the third Tuesday in the month. It's a council meeting is where we take care of the business of the city. We vote on various legislation. We introduce legislation. So if there's a piece of legislation that you think that you are interested in, you need to bring it to one of your council members. We'll take it to the attorneys. They'll do research, and then it's possible for you to see your legislation put up. A resident of the South Ward was really, really interested and concerned about driving schools. He and Councilwoman Summers Johnson, the mayor, and I, and the VA, we sat down with Mr. Ward. We drafted an ordinance, and now it's in full effect in the South Ward. And I hear from him that there are very few driving schools there, which was a safety concern for citizens in the city of Orange Township. It's good to see a vendor after something that we voted on come back and do a presentation. It's good to hear from chief and the captain and the police department that there's somebody that they work with, there's somebody that they can call and keep in touch with. That's always good. It lets us know as a council that we made the right choice. I do a coffee and conversations. I haven't done it in a while, but I'm starting back up Saturday, so it's going to be Saturday at 10 a.m. And what I do is I have it at various small businesses, so I showcase a business. So this Saturday I'm going to be at the Orange Lounge on White Street. And you may know, like I've been in the inner city, I've been to Bella Italia, Southern Comfort, the brewery, I've been to all of those spaces. So I want to bring notice to the small businesses in the city of Orange. I have a young lady named Sarah that she saw a reel that I made for Small Business Saturday, and she's going to help me put all those businesses together. We're going to knock and walk and make sure we get all of them onto a piece of paper that you can look at anytime that you want to, something that we can have printed and pass out to you, and something that can also be online. So once again, I'm Adrienne Wooten. I'm council president, been council president since July. I'm excited about being in this position. We've done a lot of work since I've come in and become council president. I've met with various other council presidents from various other cities. I've met with clerks, so we can see how we can bring our offices up to speed. Not saying they're not up to speed, but saying checking out what their best practices are. We, as a council, we are really closer than we've ever been. I'm not going to tell you that we love each other all the time, but we can sit down and not scratch each other's eyes out. And you know, if you're on a committee or a team or a group of people, you know, sometimes you love them, sometimes you get along with them, sometimes people agree with you, sometimes they don't. And that's the beauty about living in America and a democracy. But,
That's
once again,
what you're doing, but sometimes you don't see.
yeah. So, you have at-large council people, if you don't necessarily see your ward council people, you do have at-large, I'm an at-large council person. Weldon Monty King is an at-large person, and Clifford Ross is also an at-large council person.
Oh, they good.
You can call them if you like about council.
Listen, I have to have the bus on it. I live in that orange. In my world for 54 years since I've been married. So I know orange. And nobody can tell me the difference from the internet. Don't give me a fake.
She does, and she makes a mean suit too, a mean suit. But once again, please come out to our council meetings, please support us, please pull out our coattails. They start at 7 p.m. and lately we've been getting out 8:30, 9 o'clock. They're not very, very long. But please pull our coattails. We work for you. You voted us in to work for you. So it's important, you're our boss. So if you don't like something that we're doing, you have to come to us and tell us that you don't like it. Or more importantly, because this is America, vote us out and vote somebody else in. That's the beauty of being in America. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Adrian, it used to be if you went to the council meeting and you didn't agree with the people, sometimes you weren't treated very respectfully. So people stopped going because it was difficult to have a conversation. But you're saying now, if that happens, we would be treated differently as residents?
You absolutely will. As I said, my name is Adrian Wooten. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. My parents are Elizabeth and Oscar Wooten. And I'm sitting up on that dais saying, you are going to be respected. Like you are my mom, my sister, my brother, my dad. Like it's all about respect. And you respect us, and then we respect you back. And I have heard that before. I'm not that person, but I'm not gonna let you beat up on me or curse me or do something like that.
Can I second that? She's amazing as the president. Like she runs a nice meeting. She doesn't let anybody dog anybody. It shouldn't be that way. Everyone, like she said, it's America. Right? We love our opinions. Isn't it great that we can all be here and have our different opinions without getting put into jail?
Yes.
So you know what? And they allow that to happen without any, adversity.
That is great.
So does this mean that they're all physical now?
Yeah, they're all in person unless there is an emergency. So we're gonna have a meeting that was supposed to be this Tuesday coming up on the 17th.
That's what it sounds like to me.
We're gonna have that meeting. It's gonna be virtual. It's gonna be on the 30th. And that's going to give our CFO time to tie up things in the year financing. So that meeting is going to be virtual. Yes,
Question: if you're not doing virtual meetings, are you still going to be filming like people that maybe can't get to the meetings and watch them later on, or maybe still see them as they're in progress?
So the meetings are. So they are filmed, and they are run on Channel 35.
And they're also on the city website, on the resident, on the meeting hall, on the residents, and on the orange TV. You see all current council meetings.
And then one last thing, because I talked a lot. So what we're doing is we appoint a lot of people to various committees, right? But then we'll hear from committees from time to time that so-and-so is not coming, this person is not showing up, we can't have a meeting because we didn't have a quorum because these people didn't show up. So what we've asked was for each secretary of each committee that we appoint to, we want to know people's absenteeism, or we want to know their attendance. Because if they are not attending the meetings, we're going to remove those people and replace them with somebody that will attend the meeting. Because we can't do the business of the city if we don't have a full body. So thank you again for letting me speak briefly. Thank you. All of it. Dropping. Can you just introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Boris Dropick. I'm a police officer with Orange. I've been on for...
Can hear you.
Can't hear me?
You very young, this is loud.
Good evening. My name is Boris Dropick. I'm a police officer with Orange for about 5 years, going on 6. I'm currently on assignment with the Chief's Office for OEM. That stands for Office of Emergency Management. It's basically a bridge between our department, the city, and the county that transfers into the state for any kind of preparedness, mitigations, response, and coverage for any kind of disasters. So it's basically a lot of paperwork, a lot of phone calls, a lot of big rooms. It's just basically a bridge. Pleasure meeting you guys.
Any questions for either of those officers?
I have a question, but it's not specifically for those officers. Okay. It probably would be more for you. Do you guys have a specially assigned special victims unit?
Yes. Well, that's through the prosecutor's office, but our detectives handle those jobs.
Okay, because we had a problem, we were having an issue with the officer. My daughter was sexually assaulted and her incident report was falsified.
This happened in Orange?
Yes.
Okay. Then we can speak about that, because that's something that should have been brought to our attention before a meeting like this.
Well, it has been. I went to IAM.
It's an internal affairs.
Yes.
Then the right person for you to be speaking to is the chief of police right there.
All right.
No, he's in.
Probably speak to him separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of wanting the community to hear
Okay,
it
that's
because
fine.
just to see how the lack of response, how this officer.
No, I'm not silencing you. You can say.
No, we're gonna try to silence you. Just
You can say what you
probably
want.
matters.
Just trying to get a feel how things are usually handled, because I've heard that Orange has a particularly bad record with handling these type of things. And there was 10 sexual violence laws that were bills that were passed in 2021, shortly before the incident, and none of the protocol was followed with us. We were charged for the report. We didn't get the chance to review the report before it was published. The Attorney General's office hasn't even written the policy that they're supposed to write for every police department in New Jersey to be able to appeal incident reports. So it's just been a stonewall. We haven't been able to get anything done.
How long ago was this incident?
In June, she was kidnapped and held and tortured, a series of things for 3 days in June 2020.
Well, first of all, just on behalf of myself and the department, I'm so sorry that you guys had to experience that. In any of the laws that are dealing with sexual assault, everything is put in place to make your incident or your occurrence less intrusive. And you're supposed to really look out for the victim. So if that is not being done, we have to get to the bottom of it, and we definitely will.
My daughter says she could see him writing the lies on the paper as he was interviewing her. And this was like the night after we rescued her. I went myself to rescue her because she was 20 at the time. I already knew with the law being the law, they're not going to, these aren't going to intervene. And even when I was at the scene, they told us that she doesn't want to go. We had to get her taken to the hospital in crisis because this person was holding her and threatening her with killing her family, basically. So
Did you guys go to the prosecutor's office with these complaints as well?
They said they threw it out. There wasn't enough evidence. So I had to give them the official report. We haven't never gotten the safety kit test back. She was seen by the same, and it's just been done.
Okay. So we're gonna actually talk outside and give us a little more detail, because without us really being able to look into it, it's not much that I can say. But I do know if there's anything that we can do to assist you in what you're going through and experiencing, we definitely will.
Kat, do you want me to take her outside now?
Yeah. And the one thing I would like to say is that if you guys, even you, if you have any problem that rises to the magnitude of what she's speaking about, we don't have to wait for these type of meetings. This is something, like the Orange Police Department, the chief and the director and the officers here, we pride ourselves on the relationships that we are building within the community. So if there is something that is affecting you to that magnitude, we don't wait for this. We come, the chief, he gives out his personal phone number in open forums, right? So there's always a way to go to the chief police. If you're having a problem with the police department, you can always, it's always somebody else to go to. You can go to the prosecutor. Like, I mean, we don't have to just tolerate any type of negligence, right? And I'm not saying that that's what happened here, because I don't know the totality of the circumstances. But I don't want us to feel like we can't just come here, because we can come here. I mean, I've never seen it so open as it is now in my 25 years. But I mean, you definitely, if you have a valid complaint, then come forth and allow us the opportunity to try and mitigate it, okay? All right. The meeting is really until 8:30. There was another presentation because I had a lot of, well, this isn't a long presentation. It's about, what, 5-10 minutes?
I'm going to cut it short.
Okay.
because there were a lot of requests about getting the stats, right? So, for the council meetings, our Lieutenant Jackson prepares the stats for us. So I reached out to the chief and asked him in transparency, could we put it on a presentation and share the stats with you guys? So Skolsky is gonna do, a small brief presentation on the stats, and after that, we will conclude the meeting.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You know me, I'm Officer Skolsky, Community Service Division. So I'm going to cut this short. There was 10 slides, but there's the final slide that encompasses the entire city, so I'm not going to be breaking it down by wards, just because time constraints. But it was going to be a little icebreaker, just because we kind of go from a very heavy situation to something like this.
Yes.
So,
Little icebreaker.
if it works.
Oh, hell.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I'm doing okay.
Okay. I'm not so good, because you were weaving all over the road there.
Well, tell me one thing straight. I have not been
We need, okay.
And
Right hand to the nose.
yes.
With the left hand.
All right.
And back out. I need you to recite the alphabet from Z to A backwards as fast as you can. Can you do that for me? Yeah.
C Y X W V U T S R Q P O N M L K J I S G F E D C B A.
Remarkable. I've actually never seen anybody do that. I'm not worried about your bladder right now.
Sure.
Okay.
10.
Right. All right. Well, you got a pretty good balance.
Thank you.
I want you to step, bump, step, bump, bump, step, bump, step, bump, bump. 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, bump, step, bump, bump, step, bump, step, bump, bump. Bottom beret, kickball change, step, clap.
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8.
You know what would be good is if you get kicked and then you got and then
That was good.
that would be.
That was really good. You a dancer?
No, not, I'm just drunk.
We need help right now.
All right. So let me just go through a bunch of these and get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. Because it goes to each ward and it takes a little time. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to go off my little cue cards, all right? So, for citywide, for violent crimes for 2024, up to December, not including December, but going from January to November, we had 2 murders, okay? We had 2 homicides. One was in June, one was in September. So we had 20 total sex offenses. We had 45 robberies. We had 75 aggravated assaults and 221 simple assaults. That's citywide, okay? So total violent crimes, we had 363. For non-violent crimes, for the same time from January to November, we had 45 burglaries, we had 376 larceny thefts, we had 129 auto thefts, we had 146 criminal mischiefs, we had, again, this is non-violent, meaning nobody got hurt, weapons offenses or shots fired, 23 total that were reported to us, okay? We had 60 weapons recovered, and we had 0 arsons for the year, okay? So total, we had 779 non-violent crimes, and the total of crimes, including violent and non-violent, was 1,142, all right? So, the breakdown is like this. Homicide is about less than 1% for the entire year out of all of the crimes that were committed. Right? Unfortunately, the system doesn't do it justice, because here it says 1%, there it says 0. The reality is it's 0.00 something percent. The system rounds it out. Okay? The biggest thing that we had this year is larceny and theft, which accounts for about 33% out of all the crimes committed. That could be stealing a piece of candy from a store to, stealing a TV out of somebody's house. But it covers, usually what it means also, it's a non-violent crime, meaning nobody got hurt, which, you know what, it's a thing, it can be replaced. Right? So, I was going to do a breakdown of each ward, but again, I'm not going to do that. Anybody has any questions for me?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know, since those stats don't sound very bad, but I'd like to know how Orange has the second place highest crime to Newark with those kind of stats.
Because they're looking at the size, as far as I know.
Do you understand? Because that impacts our taxes, because we pay the property taxes. So my point here is, if Orange is those stats which are
Much better than most cities.
right. So how do we, because when they advertise property on
That would,
that would
I wouldn't be able to answer that. That would something, I would go to probably City Hall, because taxes is not something that.
Well, no, I'm just, my point is, sir, officer, is that when they're advertising property, okay, they quote that Orange has the second highest crime rate to Newark, when in fact that's not true. So therefore, it makes it an undesirable city to move to. That's all I'm saying. So I'm saying, with those kind of numbers, who should they be presented to change our regional direction? Where it's supposed to be number 2, maybe number 15, when we're having maybe less crime than maybe Montclair.
You also have to look at the size of the city versus Newark population. You're talking about a massive city like Newark compared to 2.25 square miles of Orange.
I'm just telling you what,
Right.
what is.
I personally.
I'm saying, you give us these stats, I understand them.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I understand the size of Zoom, I understand the size of East Orange, I understand the size of Orange. My question is, how did we get Orange moved from in a negative position by being second to Newark, when in fact we have numbers similar maybe to South Orange or some other city,
Right.
where we have Milburn, you know what I'm saying?
Right, we have much lower crime than you would think,
Right.
that the way they describe it. That's, I don't want to say that's above my pay grade, but that's something I would take up with the.
It's a marketing issue.
I think that's something that you would probably have to take up with the state, maybe, or the Attorney General, someone who puts those formulas in place. So it wouldn't necessarily be our police department, but it may be some state agency that puts those formulas together. Like even with the tax rate, like it's not Orange, it's a percentage that's put together at the state. So they should be able to help the police department.
Since you brought the stats, that allows me to ask that question.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So that I want to know, but if we have those numbers, we should be somewhere similar to maybe Milburn, number 25 or something. You understand?
I do, but
So I'm
he's just saying
asking
I
my
can't
question.
answer it.
So my
I
question
can't
is-
answer it because.
Okay, so my question is, you're saying to go to Trenton?
No, I'm saying we could possibly call someone in Trenton and find out, like, who puts those ratios together, and who does that. So I have a part-time job with Senator Timberlake, so I can send an email and ask, like, where can I get this information from, and bring the information back to you.
Thank you.
But isn't this kind of the stuff that you're supposed to be collected by the FBI? And
And you're
The
supposed to be honest.
stats are, yes,
And
they're.
you're supposed to be honest with it, and some towns may not be honest with it.
Maybe so, but you also have to understand something. We collect these stats and they go through the proper channels. How they get filtered out after they leave us, we have no say. Okay. So we do submit the stats. It's a requirement. To the state. It's a requirement. Oh, the FBI is.
This current FBI.
What's that?
The current FBI.
Right.
The one that just lost the chief, the one who commanded just retired.
Right. Well, I'm not an FBI agent, so I can't speak for how they do things. I'm just a local police officer. You're from the neighborhood cop, hi. But I know. I don't have I don't want to, you know.
The reason I was curious because you're bringing me stats, and I understand those are decent stats for Orange. You know, it says that we're not a crime.
And you have to understand something on top of that. We haven't had a murder in a while.
Right. So I'm saying we're not a crime-ridden city.
In
But I
comparison.
don't think we should be considered number
Well,
two.
I also, from my understanding, and I could be wrong, because I'm fallible, don't get me wrong, I think they also go by the size, the square mileage, versus they take that into account as well. I don't know, I'm assuming that, because there's a lot of other towns that have insane amount of crime, and they're like, they're not that bad. You know what I mean?
2.2 square miles.
It's small.
It's, you know.
Yeah, it's small, but you're also looking at 40,000 plus people that live here.
It's dense.
It is very dense.
The thing
Yes,
is,
ma'am.
you got the FBI. The FBI is the one that gives this data, right?
Well, they collect the
Once it goes to
data.
the FBI, where does it go?
Well, as far as I understand, I can't speak for them, I would have, can you get the chief there for a second? I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know all the intricacies because I'm not involved with that. So I don't want you to get me lying. I don't want to make things up that I don't know about. Okay? But as far as I understand, we submitted to the state, and the state passes it along. Yes, ma'am.
I do have a question. Even when you get the reports as a council, so does it go from the first day of the month to the last day of the month? Is that how, or is it?
It's from, as far as I understand, it's from the beginning to the end, because as you see, this month is not even accounted for.
Right.
So we're looking at the totality of it.
Is crime going down?
Overall, yes. It has been for years. It's been going on down for years. But it spikes every now and then. I've been here for about 8 years and transferred from a different police department. I remember going to calls back to back to back to back during the night and during the day. My last few years that I was in patrol, it wasn't like that anymore. And we would have spikes, don't get me wrong. There'll be weeks or days that it's nothing but calls, one after the other, but it's not every single day like that. It has gotten much better.
And then all of the stuff that you see too happens in different parts of the city, so it's like spread out. So one might happen all the way on Oakwood Ave, the other one might happen all the way in Seven Oaks and everything. So.
Any other questions?
Just to ask a question, my daughter lives next to Seton Hall, and they're having troubles with that, looking in your house to find keys, and you have your keys, and then they're breaking in just to take your keys, and they had 2 of them.
Okay.
Are we having that kind of problem showing up?
That is happening everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. That's not something particular to one area. When you have young adults, kids, it'll happen. Okay? Because some people are doing it for the thrill of it. Some people are doing it to get something out of it. I can't answer that question because as far as I know, even down out west and east, if you go West Jersey, East Jersey, South Jersey, they're having that kind of issue. Listen, it's getting so complex now to the point that they don't even need to grab your keys. If you have a new car, they can go up to your house while you're asleep, put an antenna against your door. If the key's close enough, they'll copy it.
That's right.
So one of the suggestions that we say, well, the government says is keep it away from the doors. Don't keep it in your hallway. Keep it somewhere between the walls so that there's more barriers between them. Okay, there's stuff you can go buy online now for a couple $100, and it's a little, looks like a key fob. It's not. It's a full computer that scans the Bluetooth frequencies, Wi-Fi frequencies, cellular frequencies. It's legal, but it can be used for nefarious reasons. You can reprogram it to duplicate your keys, to duplicate your phone, to steal your credit card information. No, I don't need to touch it. I just need to brush up against it.
And a lot of it is just problem of opportunity.
And today, I went to 7-Eleven, Wawa's. Somebody had their car running. And I go in there and go like, listen, whoever has their car running, either take the keys out, shut it off if it's a push. It was a push button car, right? It was a key fob. You don't have to have a key fob inside. But usually what people think is, once you start driving it, it shuts off, right? Yes, for most. However, that little thing I told you about, I don't remember what it's called, but it will capture the frequency and will override the safety, and you can drive off with that car. And here's the thing, next time you're online, look at advertisements and they'll talk about it. I don't know if anybody's seen them. It's a white little thing. You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah, it's a white little thing. It has what is it, Pi system. Okay, the program, the system is called Pi. My 10-year-old probably knows how to program better than I do at this point. So, if there's a will, there's a way. Just don't make it easy for them.
And all crimes of opportunity, so it's getting cool.
Yep. 90%. Don't get me lying, I don't want to give you the stats, percentage, but a lot of crime, like you said, is crime of opportunity. It's very rare, but it's premeditated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any more questions, let me know. Also, that's my phone number right there. Officer Stolsky, Captain Cummings extension, Officer Sims extension, the tip line. If you're not following us on Facebook and Instagram, please do. All you gotta do is scan that, and you got it. And we'll post things periodically on it, what's going on in the city. Questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Can you get a copy of the last slide you had? Is that public information?
Which slide?
The last one that you had, because I couldn't read.
This one?
No.
The stats? I would have to get the permission from my boss to do that.
Okay. I'd like to see it if you could.
Okay.
Next, make sure you take some of the freshmen.